I want to share the backstory behind each of my books. And so this first one is the book that started it all, Vested Outsourcing, 5 Rules That Transform Outsourcing. So the backstory on this one is it was really the first book based on our research. So we'd gone around the world studying some of the world's most successful relationships, in particular because it was outsourcing oriented, buyer-supplier relationships. We were able to unpack what worked and what didn't work. And this was distilled into the 5 rules. Now, here's the fun backstory. My head was exploding with all of this research. And we'd done a lot of work for the Air Force to customize some courses for them. But they needed that work to be very much government-centric, Department of Defense-centric. And I knew I couldn't take the concepts that we were teaching in the Air Force and have them resonate in a non-military, non-government environment. So I had this wild idea. I was going over guest teaching in Dubai for SP Jain University, which was one of the top universities in India. And it was their global MBA supply chain program. So I was there for 10 days and I had to teach 6 days in a row in the mornings from 8 to noon. So I had all afternoon, all evening, all night. And so I said, I'm just gonna embrace this jet lag thing. And so when I'm not teaching, if it was a waking hour, I was not coming home after my 10 days in Dubai without a draft of the book. And I challenged myself with that. And sure enough, out comes this book, out comes the story. And walked back, came back home on the airplane with a draft of the first book. And that's what we pitched to Paul Gray Macmillan. And Lori Harding was the senior editor for Paul Gray Macmillan. So we pitched her the story and she calls me up and says, I want to talk. And it was amazing. So I'm actually teaching a class and I have to get out of the class to have this conversation, which is good because we always have 2 teachers. So I said, okay, I need to sneak out. I've got this call with the publisher. And so Lori said, this is amazing, Kate. I was the publisher for Jim Womack's book, The Machine That Changed the World. Lean did to manufacturing what Vested is going to do to business relationships. And I thought, oh my gosh, someone who gets my research. And so we literally penciled out the vision for 5 books. And that was really the story that started it, was the birth of the research, the rules, and just taking those rules and translating out of the military context into the more business commercial world.